Well, good morning. It's technically afternoon, but you get what I mean. Thank you for joining us here. So today, I've got something big on my mind. Something I've been chewing on for over a decade. Something that ties together everything from anxious kids to autistic accountants to my own dyslexic brain. It's about wholeness. How we're failing to give it to our kids, our society, ourselves, and how we fix it. Buckle up, because we're going deep. Let's start with a name you might know, Jonathan Haidt. He wrote The Anxious Generation, and when he first dropped it, he had this grand idea. Phones are the devil, right? Take them away from the kids, lock them in a box, problem solved. He even did a giveaway. Schools could win phone lock boxes, like 20 of them. But then something funny happened. He updated his blog, quietly admitted he was wrong. Not in so many words, mind you. He's not the type to shout, I screwed up. But he shifted gears. Now he's all about free-range kids. Why? Because he realized it's not the phones. It's the agency or the lack of it. See, I called this years ago. Take away the kids' phones, they'll just find a workaround, or they'll pine away thinking about it. The real problem isn't the screen. It's that these kids haven't done anything for themselves. Also, we need to change our relationship with technology, so we need to change the relationship our kids have, but that's a separate discussion. I apologize. This one here is simply about agency, but I do believe we have to make the phones a tool or will be the tool, right? So the real problem isn't the screen. It's that these kids haven't done anything for themselves. I mean, think about it. Graduate students who can't read a book, grad students who've never had a job. We've got multiple generations now who don't have a mental map of the world. Marshall McLuhan saw this coming. He said one day we'd have generations that couldn't decipher each other's grammar. But I'd go further. We've got generations that haven't even developed a grammar to understand reality. No imagination, no inner monologue. I've argued this before. We've hidden the IQ drop because people swapped active visualization for passive consumption. Movies, TikTok, whatever. The architects, the artists, the dyslexics like me who mind map everything, we used to run the show. Now we're drowning in a sea of blank stares. But here's where it gets wild. This isn't just about kids. It's about how we handle difference, ability, disability, whatever you call it. Let's jump to a movie, The Accountant. You've got two characters, two poles. The guy, autistic, high-functioning, a numbers wizard. His dad refused to coddle him, drilled him into a machine. He got business, a life, but he can't connect. He's half human. Then there's the woman, nonverbal, locked in an institution, but she gets people, feels humanity deeper than most. There's this scene where her computer tech, some cutting-edge rig, hints she's not as disabled as we think. Maybe her only limit is words. So who's really whole here? The guy who passes or the woman who doesn't? I usually use an example of Nietzsche. I think he was wrong. He thought of this thought experiment. If we were alone in the woods, would we have need of language? And I realized today, trying to discuss simple things with people who just didn't seem to want to meet me halfway. They just wanted to stay in their little milieu. The issue is simple. Nietzsche said we might not need language if we were alone in the woods. No, absolutely not. We would need language whether we were alone and even more so with others. Because we come to know ourselves through language, through visualization, and a combination of experience and imagination, induction, interaction with other people. This hits home for me, obviously. Growing up dyslexic, they didn't know what to do with me. Denied it half the time, well, more than half the time. Coddled me, never. Neither worked. What did? Figuring out how I think, mind maps, visuals, my own way, learning to learn, same as learning to heal. Marianne Wolfe gets this. She wrote about reading, how we're born storytellers, born listeners, but we've got to learn to read. Her son's dyslexic too. She sent him to art. Good start, but it left him half developed. Compare that to David Goggins. His teacher, a nun, didn't overlook him. She taught him how to learn his way. That's the key. Not denying difference, not indulging it, but meeting it where it stands. So here's the hinge pin. Agency. We're not teaching people to think. Not the anxious kids, not the disabled, not anyone. Haidt figured it out. Free range isn't just about letting kids roam. It's about giving them tools to navigate. The accountant shows it too. Neither character got the chance to build their own map. One was forced to conform, the other hidden away. Sound familiar? It's what we're doing to a whole generation. But there is a way out. It's a middle way. Schopenhauer said we learn another language to separate words from ideas. Sherlock Holmes said we wrestle with hard stuff to grow the minor folds in our brain. So why aren't we giving kids, all people, multiple paths? Audiobooks, physical books, ebooks. Why not all of it? Let them find their grammar, their map. I'm living proof it works. Dyslexia didn't break me. It shaped me. Chronic illness didn't break me. It left me battered and bruised, but better for it. The more, the more we raise all boats, the more we realize everyone's differently abled, atypical is what I say, the more people contribute, raising all boats. I talked about this. I tried to explain this to someone. I used Japan as an example. They've tried to accessorize the world, make it more accessible for people, seniors, the blind, the disabled. And I was trying to explain this to a gentleman who was like, well, it's not pragmatic. It seems to me stairs are the most economical way. Well, there you go. You're already dehumanizing a portion of the population that isn't comfortable using stairs. And he accused me of being a leftist and arguing like a leftist when I said, why? Because I'm arguing for the humanity in us? But he said, how can a business, if they wanted to open and they didn't have accessible, they can't afford to rebuild it? I said, well, look at Japan. If we all invest in our accessibility, well, then not only will that business operate, paying taxes, will customers come in and spend money and pay taxes? Employees will work and earn money and pay taxes and spend money. And even so, one step beyond that, the disabled will be able to take part in the business and start paying taxes, maybe work. But neither of it would register. This person just didn't seem to understand that when, as Nietzsche said, when we denature others, we dehumanize ourselves. That might have been Jung. I'm playing off of Nietzsche's Flies in the Marketplace, right? Right? Martin Buber's I and Thou is I'm telegraphing what's coming up later, right? So I argue society gets better when we stop trying to jam square pegs into round holes. If we start to learn that maybe we need to hone the edges and expand the holes. Now, let me leave you with one last piece. Helen Keller. She said when she got language, she felt like a real being. But it wasn't just the words. It was Anne Sullivan, someone interacting with her, seeing her as a person. Martin Buber called this I and Thou, real connection, not isolation, not profilicity, pretending to be someone and interacting with other pretend people. I felt that as a kid, alone, cut off, until I cracked my own code. Today, I've learned to communicate, to connect, but it drives me nuts. Everyone else seems stuck, unwilling to open their minds. We've got the tools, stories, tech. We've got each other. Wholeness isn't out of reach. We just need to stop denying, stop coddling, and start teaching people to think their way into the world. So what do you say? Let's build those maps together. So that's it for today. Hit me up. Again, if there's anything else you'd like to talk about, any particular topics, just let me know. But until then, have a wonderful day. Probably talk to you tomorrow.